To start us off, Manchester United have agreed a deal in principle for Rasmus Højlund. I know you don't like talking about players that are not officially yours yet, but what makes him a special player? What are his attributes that you like?
So, as you said, I can't talk about players who are not under contract at Manchester United. So, if you want to make the question, first we have to finish something, and then after, then we can talk, you can set the question.
But tell us about him as a player. You don't have to tell us about the deal.
No, I can't talk about this player in this moment because I'm a long time in football and I know first we need signings, and so far we have to keep calm and let the professionals do their work.
You talk about needing signings. You have got 2 of them over the line already. They're out here on pre-season tour, getting the chance to acclimatise. How important is it that the club have done their business quicker than your first pre-season?
Yeah, I'm pleased with it because you see such a tour that's good for the team building and for new players. So to get into the team, to get knowledge about the values, about the standards, so in and off the pitch. And so it's very helpful and that the players are already there and they integrate in the team. Also to get the social connections. Football is a team sport, so you need the partnerships.
And then in terms of a year on at Manchester United, how have you feel the players have adapted to you? What have you seen differently? Do you feel their intensity has improved? A year on, what's your reflections?
I think the levels all across increased immense, and that was necessary. But still, we are not there where we want to be, and we have to raise the bar. So we have to go to next levels.
And then just to finish off, what in this last year have you picked up from English football?
Oh, you learn always, and I think English football also every time evolves. And I think you see nowadays the league is stronger and stronger. When you compare it with 3-4 years ago, it's definitely the case because all the strong players get attracted to the Premier League. All the best managers got attracted to the Premier League. So every time it develops and it progressed, and it's really a challenge. And really looking forward again to go in the season and to get the challenge.
Do you think Manchester United that you inherited was the one you expected? Was there anything that you didn't think you were going to encounter that you did encounter last year?
Oh, there are always surprises, but again, sometimes positive surprises and negative surprises. And as a manager, you have to deal with it, and you need it managed in the situation, and you have to act in the actuality.
I mean, it felt as though the first few months of your time was dominated by Cristiano Ronaldo. It feels as though the first few months of this season might be dominated by Harry Maguire. I know you've spoken about him a lot. How do you go about keeping him as part of the group, making him positive on the group? Because he's obviously got vast experience and knowledge of English football and Manchester United and the international game.
I don't see it like that, but you can have that impression. That's your choice. But not last year, not this year. We are building. We are building a project. We want to win trophies, and so we have to invest in the way of play. We have to invest in the team, and our focus is not on one player.
You said you've still got a way to go. How far do you think you've got to go when you consider that you played Manchester City in the final game of your season and you know what they did? They are obviously the standard to aim for. How far have you got to go?
Yeah, I think last season proved we can beat any opponent, and we proved in the season and that we don't have to fear any opponent, but also it proved we can't do it on consistency base. So that is the step we have to make. If you want to go forward, we have to be more consistent.
And can I just ask you one more? And it's been a big issue for football over the summer, has been the investment that's come into the game from Saudi Arabia and the number of players and the type of players that have gone to play in the Pro League there. Do you think that is a problem for English football in terms of the players? Is it a problem for clubs in terms of negotiating deals? What kind of change will that make to the dynamic of the European game?
I think in Europe has an effect because there are some money is over there and it will attract players. But I don't see it in this moment as a problem for the Premier League, because the Premier League, that is the league where the big players want to play, and that is not in competition with a league like America or Saudi Arabia.
Erik, I think most of us are surprised that there hasn't been some kind of resolution with the ownership at this point. Has it been disruptive at all in pre-season, and do you expect any resolution soon?
I focus on my job, and that is to improve the team. So yeah, I have to do my work to sign the players, and I have to work on the way of play, and that is my focus area, and that's what I've done. So I don't get distracted from any of strategic review. That's what others in the club, they will deal with it, and we have a good information line. So we're sharing the information, so I know where I am, and I can focus on my job.
I was going to say, is that information line directly to the Glazers? Does it go through Richard Arnold? How does that information, do you get it?
Most of the times it's going over Richard Arnold or John Murtaugh. But sometimes also we have direct contact, as you have seen in New York.
When you reflect on your first season in English football, it seemed you very frequently kept with the same side in all competitions, or very similar sides. Given the way perhaps there was a lack of legs towards the end of the season, has your approach changed, maybe with the options, more confidence in your players, or am I just totally wrong?
No, but I think no one played so many games as we, and then in the end you get fatigue, but also in that area we can improve when we do in that performance area, like with food, nutrition, the sleep, the recovery. We can improve, and across the season already we worked on it, and in the pre-season we integrate some measures to be better in that area, and then we hope, and not only hope, but also we think that we can better recover between the games. But be fair, our physical levels were high, and our recoveries between the games was good. But as you play so many games, and don't forget all the players for us playing for their nations as well. There were, in the end, every player has their limits, and I think in the end some players were on their limits, and there was also in some results you could see it back.
There's been so much talk and excitement about the way Andrea Ranocchia will come in and potentially change his style of play. Will it be that much different to last season?
It's a different profile of a keeper, and so something will change here in our game.
As in, he seems to be a lot higher up the field, out of possession, things like that, short passes at the back. Anything else we can expect from him? Because he seems to be able to do everything.
Yeah, that's why we want to sign him. And he's a great goalkeeper, and he will help us.
And I know you don't want to talk about a particular striker coming in, but you spoke the other day about the need for more goals. And do you believe this team has got a lot more in them that can support whoever does come in?
I think so. Also, we raised the bar already last season, and we were more dominant, and we create many chances. And I'm convinced we will finish, and we will net more goals.
Finally, from me, do you have a squad now that is more fitting of an Erik Ten Hag squad in terms of numbers, in terms of profile? Is this the way that an Erik Ten Hag squad would look?
No, I wouldn't call it an Erik Ten Hag squad. It's about the demands in top football, and there we have to find the players, or we have to increase the levels from the players who are there. And I think many players improved during last season, and my expectation is we can make another step, that we increase the levels of the individuals.
Could I just ask you one more question? We're talking about strikers. Do you know when we are likely to get a decision on Mason Greenwood? Because it seems to have stretched on a long time, and it hangs over the club and nobody knows what's happening.
But I explained in New York, and I don't think I have to reply again on that question.
You don't know when we're going to get a decision?
No, but I Simon, I answered this question, but I can't every time answer the same question.
Okay.